go into that because
Right.
we still got banters coming on. But guys, I've not forgotten I'm Vivian Oguche. And remember, this show is all about you. So if you're game, let's get the show on the road. That will be after this short break. Stay with us. All right, so on etiquettes today, we're talking about societal hygiene. I tell you, this is the most important topic.
Yeah.
Now, roles in societal hygiene is what we are starting with. Taking action for a healthier community. A member of your community, as a member of your community, you play a vital role in maintaining societal hygiene. Your daily actions can significantly impact the health, cleanliness, and well-being of those around you. You need to know these things, and I think Sarah is going to begin with proper waste disposal.
Yeah, some of the things you need to know to ensure societal hygiene is proper waste disposal, as this prevents disease transmission and maintains community appearance. Also, regular hand washing reduces the spread of illnesses. I think one of the things COVID taught us is to be more intentional about washing our hands.
Yeah.
You know, despite the fact that we would say we are out of that phase, you know, but that culture remains. These days I'm very conscious. At the slightest thing, I'm washing my hands. So it's important also that way you're protecting yourself and also your loved ones, people around you.
But if you don't have water, you could do with a hand sanitizer.
Hand sanitizer, yes. Also, you need to take note of clean water and sanitation, as they are very essential for public health. Food safety practices also prevents contamination. Ensure that whatever food you're cooking is safe, it is hygienic, it is in a clean environment, and all of that. Also, public health education empowers informed decision making. I think that they teach that in schools these days, you know, public health, how to take care of your health, things to look out for, and things to do, not to do, touching. One of the things I'm very particular about is rails. You know, staircase, you have to use the rails, or you are in a place, you have to keep opening the door. It's a public place. It's good to have your sanitizer just very close by so you can continuously.
And I remember you vividly saying on this very platform some time ago that when you're going to sneeze, remember to cough into your arm.
Yeah, so you take us through the contributions that matter.
Yes, remember that your contribution matters. Why? This is how it is important. Dispose of waste correctly. Yeah, dispose of waste correctly. Recycle, compost, and properly dispose of hazardous materials. Also, practice good hand hygiene. Wash hands frequently with soap and water. Also participate in community cleanup events, right? Also support local sanitation initiatives, report public health concerns to authorities. I already talked about reporting public health concerns to authorities, but that is a little bit dicey, yeah? For example, if you are in a neighborhood and you have people who share office spaces with you and they are not very hygienic, wouldn't you feel a little bit harsh reporting them to authorities?
So you need to consider the people that are also in your organization. I remember about a month ago or thereabout, there was a particular issue that happened. A particular house, they saw about 2 tenants coming out. It was raining and they poured waste in the rain, and authorities were called upon and they sealed the house. So when you see that this is hazardous to you and your loved ones, I don't think you are doing anything wrong.
You're not being unmerciful. Absolutely. Also, we have this very important one: adopt environmentally friendly habits. Now, this is good. It's called the 3 R's. Reduce, reuse, and recycle. Awesome. We also have educate others on societal hygiene practices. Now, Sarah's going to take the baton now as she tells us about simple habits for a big impact.
Yeah, some of the simple habits you need to look into for a big impact is the use of public trash cans. I always say this, and if you're listening to me, Oluwashemilore, you taught me this habits in school. When I got into 100 level, she was like she was my closest friend then. And she's this person that even if it's as tiny as the wrapper of a sweet, you will keep it in your bag or your pocket till you find a trash. You know, it's not like I didn't know, but I was not so diligent in that.
So she made you more conscious of it.
It was so bad that if you drop a sachet on the floor, she will pick it up and put it in your bag or your pocket till you find a trash can. So and ever since I learned that habit, I always do it to people that are close to me.
Yes.
So it's like one person taught me, and
then you're transferring the knowledge.
So use public trash cans, and these days even public transportation, some of them have trash cans. You know, also cover your mouth when coughing or sneezing. Very important. Sneeze into your elbow so you don't spread anything at all. Keep your living space very clean. This cannot be overemphasized. Personal hygiene. Conserve water and energy. Very, very important. Respect community spaces as well. And remember that together we can make a difference. Every small action counts. Now, by incorporating these habits into your daily life, what exactly do you contribute to? First, you contribute to improved public health. You contribute to an enhanced community appearance. You contribute to environmental sustainability, social cohesion, and you know, all of these things. Now, note that taking ownership of your role in society, in societal hygiene, helps you inspire others to join you in creating a healthier, cleaner, and more sustainable community.
Absolutely. This has been a most educative piece for me. I mean, you can take it to the bank. It is most important. And I'm sure not too long from now, we will redo it again. Just like your friend that kept doing something so that it will be hammered into your head. Do you know that's how you remember? Repetition. You have to keep doing it so that you don't forget. But that's it for this segment. Yeah. When we come back, we'll take a look at the national dailies. Stay with us. Well, if you just joined us, it is the Breakfast Cafe right here on your favorite dial, High Impact TV. I got just opposite me, my colleague Sarah, and I am Vivian. And this segment is where we get to take a look at the front pages of the national dailies. And if you will, let's begin with the Daily Trust. Yeah? Major headline here: security agents supplying arms to terrorists and bandits. That is coming from the National Security Advisor.
It is a very strong one, I must say.
Yeah.
Very, very strong. It's heavy, considering who made the statement. Now, if it wasn't somebody that holds such kind of position, we might just say, oh, maybe he doesn't know what he's saying, or maybe this and that. But the National Security Advisor saying security agents are the ones supplying arms to terrorism. I think this is not something that we should just overlook.
It must not be swept under the carpet. And you know, when former President Goodluck Jonathan said that terrorists had infiltrated his government, Nigerians went online to lambaste him and all of that. But you see now, Nuhu Ribadu just confirmed it. Now, if you just take a look at the screen, we have pictures of these arms. Yes, now I think they've been confiscated. And you see security agents, you know, unloading and unpacking Wow. And if you continue to take a look at the front page of the Daily Trust, it's a lot. It's a lot, and it's mind-boggling. We will continue to follow this story, and as updates unfold, we will bring feedback to you. But let's go back to the front page of the Daily Trust. You have a picture there of the National Security Advisor himself, Nuhu Ribadu, and the Chief of Defense Staff, General Christopher Musa, chasing and destroying, or really destroying over 2,400 arms. Gosh, that's mind-boggling.
Unserviceable ammunition.
Unserviceable, yeah?
Yeah.
Wow. Now, right below that story, we have this one here. Reversing Tinubu's policies will spell doom for Nigeria. Sarah,
I saw this.
Know who this coming? Just guess who this is coming from.
It's the World Bank.
Oh,
I saw this, and I remember that about 2-3 days ago, we took the headline where the World Bank said Tinubu's policies, we have to stick to them and all of that. And it caused a lot of controversies, talks here and there. And the Bauchi State Governor has even countered the statement, saying that the federal government's reform is not working.
Yeah.
However, the World Bank has said reversing it or going against it will make things worse. How worse can things be? So if these reforms are supposed to make things better and all we're seeing is more hardship,
Yeah. What's the essence?
What's the essence? And you're saying reversing it to, okay, are we looking at a case where it will start to yield results in the next 3 years or 2 years?
The same World Bank not too long ago said Nigeria's economy was one of the worst in the world. Why are they talking from both sides of their mouths? I mean, it was just yesterday, though, that I think it was Olumide who had, like I always say, he has bones to pick with this, international bodies. We had the National Assembly, the Green Chamber specifically, that's the House of Representatives, saying, President Tinubu, you must reverse the price of fuel and gas, or else, there was an else there, or else there might be unrest in the society. So which would you choose if you were in the shoes of the federal government? Having restfulness or listening to the World Bank that are not even based, or members of the World Bank that are not based in Nigeria?
Right.
You know?
That's a $1 million question.
I'm telling you. Let's continue to take a look at this particular story. It's got a couple of riders, and the first rider says they are not working, right? This is coming from Bala Mohammed. But Bala Mohammed says that they are not working. We risk lynching, of course. So Bala Mohammed is responding to the World Bank to say that
the policies are not working.
They are not working. And the very interesting part for me is he's saying that they, the leaders, they risk lynching. You know what lynching is? It is bad, I'm telling you. Now, the other rider says we'll sustain reforms for long-term gains. Of course, this is coming from Edu.
Yeah, the coordinating minister of the economy. So we wouldn't expect anything less.
Absolutely.
Right.
Well, away from that story, this one is about flooding, and it's above the masthead. It says, flood. Federal government urges Benue, Niger Riverine communities to relocate.
To where?
That is a good question.
Are they creating temporary sheds for them? Are they making room to accommodate these people? If you're asking people in these communities to relocate, that means you're supposed to have made a plan. That, okay, all those people from this community that we are asking to evacuate, we have made provision in so community, community. We've liaised with them, and then we've built some sort of camp, you know, that can accommodate you for a period of time. We've provided food. We've done this and that. It would be easier. Yeah. So you're telling them to relocate to where? What if they don't have family elsewhere? They don't have money to get a space. What provision are you making for them? That's the thing. So we do hope that the authorities make provisions for these people so that they don't become internally displaced persons. Yeah. Yes, let's also take a look at this story. It's coming from the National Assembly now. Reps Speaker assures media trust of partnership on parliament coverage. Okay, I hope it's not just media trust, but the media in general. And that wraps it up for us on the front page of the Daily Trust. Right, 0812-182-0154 is the number to call. Contribute to any of the stories on the National Daily. Share your thoughts. But let's quickly take Mukhtar from Abuja. Good morning, Mukhtar. Thank you for calling.
Good morning, Mukhtar. Thank you for calling. thank you very much. I want to react to that Daily Trust headline you guys just discussed now.
Okay.
Regarding the World Bank, advising
The federal government and Nigerians to
stick with the reforms.
Yeah. We can hear you,
one
Mukhtar.
of you said it's not working. And also, Bala Mohammed, the governor of Bauchi State, says it's not working. They don't want to get lynched or something. Now, you need to understand where we are coming from as a country. We have run a wasteful regime of subsidies for petroleum and forex, which has only benefited the rich and the elite of the society. These funds ought to have been diverted and spent on infrastructure like education, health, roads, and the like. These reforms cannot take effect and bring positive results within a year and 6 months or 2 months or even 4 years. What do you produce in Nigeria that you export? Nothing. When you go into the Committee of Nations or in the marketplace, you see other countries.
So, Mukhtar, are you of the, just because of time, are you of the opinion you're buying what World Bank says that, we should not reverse President Tinubu's policies?
I'm strongly of the opinion that the reforms should continue.
Okay.
All right.
Thank you.
Mukhtar, before you go, though.
And again, the government should provide, welfare and,
exactly.
Programs that help alleviate
You see,
pain.
Mukhtar, can you listen a little bit? This is the question I was going to ask. You said the government should provide welfare, palliatives, I guess you're saying, measures to cushion these very harsh economic reforms. Shouldn't these measures have been put in place?
Before these policies?
Yeah, before these policies.
That's a good question and a good observation. But you need to understand that you need money to put these measures in place.
But we have money. We have been hearing
in the kitchen.
We have been hearing money is being disbursed for renovations and all of that.
You need to. Where do you have the money? You don't have anything. Subsidy has drained the resources of this country, spending more than 10 trillion yearly. You want to put up welfare programs and the rest. You need money to do it, and there's no money. We have been running a rent economy for decades. So you need to understand this.
Right.
That is why these funds that have been freed, they should be diverted to the welfare and as well to critical infrastructure projects.
Thank you,
which
Mukhtar.
will create jobs and help the economy in the long run.
Thank you so much for your contribution this morning.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. I like it. I like that we're having this conversation. You remember when this administration came on board, it said the economy was, that Nigeria was bankrupt. So maybe Mukhtar has a point about the country not having money. But Sarah, I think you were going to say something.
Yes, he believes that we should stick to the reforms. He strongly believes that the World Bank, and he said something that these reforms might not yield what we want. Which you had said, you were asking the question. Yeah, 1 year, 6 months, and it might take a while. It might even take 4 years, according to him. But what do you do to cushion the effect of this hardship on Nigerians? But because of time, let's quickly take the Vanguard newspaper this morning. The Vanguard newspaper greets us with this major caption. We see JP Morgan executive visiting the CBN governor, and the pictorial representation is there. You can take a look at it. Federal government's reforms not working. Bauchi governor counters World Bank. We took it earlier, and then we'll be having that conversation with our guest. That's a page 5 read, Vanguard newspaper. Beneath that, hardship fueling voter apathy, political parties won. And you know what this means? When there is voter apathy, it means the large chunk of the population do not elect their leaders. Yeah. What takes place now is selection. Not election. Right. And that's bad. Well, we can get details of that story on page 8, Vanguard newspaper. Just beneath that, we see this one that says, go on at 90. Your dedication to Nigeria's unity progress leaves indelible mark. This is coming from senators.
Sorry about it. He's 90 now.
Yeah.
Wow.
That's a page 7 read. Jigawa explosion. Death toll rises to 168 as survivor recounts ordeal. Very disturbing situation, I must say. Almost 107 persons have been confirmed dead from that tanker explosion.
Just yesterday, we saw pictures of a mass burial all over the front pages of the national dailies. This is very unfortunate, and the toll is rising.
Yeah.
Our hearts goes out to family of the deceased.
Yeah. Page 14 has all the details. Moving on from there, talking about flooding, Vivian took this earlier on the Daily Trust. Relocate from river banks. Federal government warns Nigerians. That's on page 9. I want to see what NEMA has to say in this regard. Federal government inaugurates panel to toll $112.53 million Abuja, Kefi, Akwanga, Makurdi roads. That's on page 26. Moving on, why Naira is worst performing currency. That's from experts. You want to know why? Get a copy of the Vanguard and go straight to page 19. NGE, Imo government, UNICEF engage editors on Southeast and South-South challenges. Page 26 has the details. Politically motivated court judgments threaten our democracy. That's coming from former president of Nigeria, Goodluck Jonathan. Many injured as CNG-powered vehicle explodes in Benin City. I saw this yesterday, and I was very disturbed. You know, it's powered by gas, and according to reports, it went to get gas, and in that process, it just exploded. It brings us back to the conversation of safety of using CNG-powered vehicles.
You just nailed it on the head. I remember we had a guest. That's the picture, guys. It's on your screen. That's the picture of the event. That's the car before and after. You know, and you see the cylinder there that exploded. It brings me back to the conversation we had with one of our guest analysts, CG Bennett. And one of the callers, I think from either Kogi or Abuja, asked him, how safe is this? You know, there's been talks about transition to CNG and all of that. Is this very safe? CG was very optimistic then. But now, you know, we see this kind of thing happening. But the authorities have come to say that the cylinder was not a good one.
And then I think we also have a part to play. We need to understand safety measures. According to some of the reports I saw online, it was left in under the sun for a long time. And then if the cylinder, you need to also check your cylinder. Make sure you're not using an old cylinder. Even when you're using cylinders at home to cook, your gas cooker, they always tell you, oh, cylinders have expiry date. When it is old, you need to check it. So we, as much as the government has their part to play, we also have a part to play. If I want to convert my car to gas powered, I need to understand the details of it. I need to know what I need to look out for. I need to understand safety measures. I need to understand what exactly it entails. Am I supposed to park under the sun for so long? Am I supposed to do this? Am I supposed to do that? At what point do I check it? You know, and this caused panic. It caused some injuries, but we got no report of any life that was lost.
I'm glad.
But we had reports of injuries. Moving on, lastly, we have two more stories on the Vanguard newspaper. In education, we have this: Afe Babalola to federal government, capture private varsities in students' loan scheme. That's an angle. Page 10 has it. And lastly, sports, page 31, Super Eagles Libya saga. CAF fixes date for verdict on investigation. We'll see how this pans out. That wraps it up for the Vanguard newspaper this morning.
All right, let's quickly take a look at the Punch now. The major headline is skyrocketing inflation. That's what the Punch calls it. Nigerians lament hunger, and World Bank says 129 million naira trapped. No, 129 million Nigerians trapped in poverty. This is coming from the World
Yes,
Bank.
we will still stick, yes, they say we should still stick with the reforms. I wonder how many people will be trapped in poverty before this reform starts to yield results.
And many must have even died.
Yeah.
You know, unfortunately. But let's take a look at the rider to this particular story. Commodities price jump of 45 to 92% under Tinubu as small business owners lament downturn. And you remember when there is a dot of SMEs, then, I mean, the economy is really in serious trouble. Just above the story now, For some politics, oh no, not politics really, but it's about Rivers State. Rivers offers 100 scholarships as Wigwe Varsity takes off. That's good. At least a breath of fresh air, some good news coming from Rivers State.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's good. We like it. Keep it up. We also have this one above the masthead. Nimsi Bus gets accolades for improved staff welfare. Okay, congratulations. This one says tanker explosion. Federal government promises to rebuild raised Jigawa town. And this story also says OPS carpets Tinubu reforms, CSOs demand cabinet shake-up. Remember, there are lots of oppositions to what the World Bank has said. We also have government orders discos to replace phased-out meters. And lastly, health-related, cholera has killed 378 cases. Yeah, 378. Cholera has killed 378. Cases rise to 14,237. And this is coming from the NCDC. And that wraps it up for us on the front page of The Punch.
Now we move very quickly to the Guardian newspaper, and just as we are gearing up for the 4th anniversary, if I could use that word,
Okay.
I would rather say, if I could say, NSAS protest at 4.
Oh, good. Yeah.
NSAS protest at 4 is going to be 4 years on Sunday, the 20th of October. And this Guardian newspaper puts it this way. A specter of abuses, bad leadership, still haunting 4 years after. We can see an infographics of the woman, blindfolded, pinned down with a very gigantic thumb, Panel recommendations, NSAS, and bad governance. If you look at infographics, you understand the picture. But let's quickly take Benson from Ayobo. Thank you for calling, Benson.
Hello?
Hello, good morning, Benson. Thank you for calling.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning. We can hear you. Please share your thoughts quickly.
I'm calling in respect of what the last contributor said on concerning the World Bank and their policy concerning what Tinubu is doing.
Yeah.
My own opinion to that is that I've searched through World Bank policy in Africa. Hello? Hello?
Yes, we can hear you, Benson.
Yeah, I've monitored World Bank policies in Africa for decades, and I've not found anyone that succeeded. They end up putting the countries in poverty and hunger. I remember when they brought the structural adjustment program, it didn't end well. There's no country in Africa that World Bank and the IMF have supported that is succeeding or that is progressing. So we need to check, are they even helping Africa or exploiting Africa?
That's a big one.
You check the countries that decided not to go with them. They are succeeding. So I don't believe that World Bank is doing what they are doing for the betterment of the country or for the masses.
Thank you, Benson.
They are there to exploit the leaders and get what they want from the leaders.
We'll definitely pick this up when Sheson joins us very quickly. He's an economic
But that
expert.
was the most important contribution. Thank you, Benson.
Thank you, Benson.
You remember he referred to structural adjustment program.
Yes.
That was under former head of state Ibrahim Badamasi Babangida.
Right.
Yeah.
But very quickly, 129 million Nigerians living below poverty line. That's according to the World Bank. Federal government has ordered residents to relocate from flood-prone River Benue and River Niger areas. But there are so many other stories on the Guardian newspaper. You can take a look at it. This is where we wrap up this segment, where we take a look at the front pages. We'll go on a very quick break. When we're back, our guest will be joining us to analyze these headlines. To stay with us.
right, this is the second part of the newspaper review, and we are hitting the ground running. We've got our guest analyst, Sheson Kouade. He is a public affairs analyst, and always a pleasure to have him on board. Sheson, good morning.
Yeah, good morning, Vivian. Good morning, Sarah. And
good
morning to all our listeners across the globe. Thank God it's Friday.
Thank God it's Friday. We see you adorned in your traditional attire. It's very beautiful to see.
Even if they decide to make us unhappy, we'll give ourselves the happiness, even with whatever we have. And that's the way to go.
I like it. I like it. So let's begin with this conversation that stirred up, some debate in the studio right now. It's about the World Bank saying, let's stick with President Tinubu's reforms that if you reverse them, it will spell doom for Nigeria. We've got two callers who called in to address this particular topic. Mokhtar from Abuja, who said, guys, I agree with the World Bank. And then Benson from Ayobok called and said, no, I don't agree. What's your take?
Yeah, thank you very much. I think I happened to listen to Benson. And my own perspective to it is the policies are fine. Implementation is wrong. Timing is really not accurate, if you ask me. When you bring out these laudable policies, you must have a cushion effect. And when you look at some of the things World Bank is saying, before this administration came on board, I think we came up with multidimensional poverty level, and that was about 90 million. And this morning they are coming to tell us that we've had additional 1/3, which is about 30-something additional million.
Over
129 million.
So we are talking of 129 million, and we feel that policies of the government seems to be working. Policies can be good, but if you don't implement it rightly, you might have a particular problem. That is the issue where we are. I've been an advocate to say, fine, I've never supported government paying subsidy. But at the same time, we understand that there is deep corruption in the oil sector, which we need to unravel. That's where you must first start from. Understand the system. Who are the people? As we speak, we've asked several questions from the government to even give to us what is the oil consumption per state, to have cumulatively what we consume as a nation. What is being consumed in Lagos State? What is being consumed in the north? What is being consumed in the east? Let's have a prototype of something to show some of these, not fictitious figures, because you come, I remember Millie Kyari coming to tell us that majority of the product we are subsidizing for are actually being diverted to neighboring countries. And I asked myself, are there no security agency that can tame the activities of those that are diverting the so-called funds that we can, on our own, utilize what we have and have understanding of the quantity of petroleum product that we are using? So the major problem we have is policies are fine, but we don't have a system that runs it. So World Bank is thinking that they are discussing with United States of America, like China, like Japan, where there's a system that works. Where if somebody diverts funds, he see himself behind the bar, not being celebrated, and even being given, national honors. These are two distinct things, and that's why we keep saying that the major problem we have is not that we have problem with the policy, but implementation. You discover that certain set of people go about to work around it for their own benefit. Majority of the citizens are crying, but some people are smiling to the bank. And that's what goes on when we have this kind of issue. How can we have a country that we cannot be boast of what the petroleum price will look like within a month? Within a month. I traveled last week to Abuja, and coming back to Lagos, the fuel I bought is not what I'm buying now.
Absolutely.
So imagine a businessman that have actually given a quotation of what to do to his client. Vivian and Sarah, is it going to still be the same thing?
No.
It's either you collect the job and you are running at a loss, or you are going back to your client to reposition what you've had, because you cannot, the difference between what we had last time and now is about 200. And don't forget, within the same period, we've had energy grid collapse that has necessitated pressure on even on availability of the petroleum product that you want to use. They are not even available.
In fact,
you were telling me in the office the other.
Yeah, I was going to ask that. Also remember that the Naira was floated, right? So you have all of these things happening at the same time.
That's why we are saying that we should have picked this thing one after the other, have a feedback mechanism to say, is this, and I keep saying this, personally, I am not an advocate of World Bank, IMF. They are all out for their personal gain, and no apology for that.
Okay.
Let's look for a way to domesticate the things that we are. You see, World Bank, IMF will run after you because of the things that they gain from you.
Yes.
We have natural resources that we have here. Do you hear that the frustration Dangote is getting? It's because the other European country consider that refinery as a threat.
Yes.
Right.
So they don't want it to work. And what they try to do is that to now use your own against you, because they know that the only language Nigerian knows is that just give them something. They know how to kill their own for their personal gain. And these are orientations that we must take because there's no system working. So I, in as much as I celebrate some of the policies being carried out by Mr. President, but we need to domesticate some of these things and have a feedback mechanism. Right. How do you put it? That before your assumption, people go to offices with their cars, and now people cannot go to offices with their cars.
People are strolling to their offices now. People are trekking, strolling to their offices.
You now consider strolling as an exercise, which you have been doing before now. Right. So how can you put that? So cars are getting deteriorated, being parked at home because you can't afford to buy fuel. If you need to fuel ordinary Corolla now, you must have as much as having 70K.
Right.
What is your salary?
Very important question. Sheson Okwande, I want to talk about these international bodies for a second. One of the things Benson said when he called was the fact that none of the African countries that the World Bank has interfered in their situation has actually gotten better.
I like the word you used.
Yeah. That things have only gotten worse. And I would like to connect this with so many things. Sometimes in September, we had Bill Gates, come into the country. And in while he was answering questions from journalists, he stated that our tax payment system or whatever in Nigeria is still very low. Fast forward to a few days after that, we got an update where the federal government, said starting from 2025, the tax is going to be increased from 7.5% to 10% and a rise to 15% by 2027 or 2030. Now, this is very concerning because it seems like we get these people from international organizations or whatever come into the country and somehow dictate how things should run, maybe using yardsticks of more developed countries. How do we filter or sieve what we should accept from these international bodies regarding our economy and what we should work with, considering the fact that even as a country, just Bala Mohammed, Governor of Bauchi, still talked about this reform, saying that we don't have to stick with it, it's not working for us. But it's as though we are listening to international bodies. How do we balance and know what to filter and take in?
Pardon me, a lot of us may not study in Advert or study in those international schools, but practically majority of those that we have at the helm of our field today have international inclination, which they all studied abroad, they all have understanding of what it is abroad, but they don't practicalize what is operational there locally. You see, we increased our VAT from 5% to 7%. We removed subsidy by having more revenue for the government. But you ask yourself, there is a system in the developed clime that actually looked into some of these extra revenue being generated, diverted into things that will actually impact the common man. I will continue to say, when the subsidy was to be removed, I came up with that idea to say, can we invest this in two areas? I'm just concerned about two areas, electricity and the refinery. Mm-hmm. You see, if you are able to tackle that, energy cost for every business organization is not something to write home about as we speak. You are all on band A. Where is the availability? Even if those things are there, that implies that we are not going to be consuming this other fuel and other diesel. But you need logistics to move some of the things that you are. So if we can reduce those two costs, because we are producing those major products ourselves, increase our generation so that we have surplusity of some of those things, allow domestic people to invest in that sector, to increase the production so that we can have it everywhere, 24-hour supply. You discover that the pressure we have on petroleum product will reduce. And that on its own, you can go ahead and export. That is if our refinery are functioning. So when you are now producing some of those fuel, because you've been able to take care of an aspect that consumes that fuel, which is power, you can divert some of those things and push to neighboring countries by earning foreign exchange, which on its own will affect the availability of foreign exchange that we have. Then you can start considering area of mechanized farming when it comes to agriculture. Because I will tell you, we are blessed with fertile and vast land. What we see most of the time is areas now being considered for residential area rather than exploiting it for agricultural purposes. You can imagine you drop grains of maize and some other things in some locality without you even looking back. Those things on their own are germinating. But in some country, they need to create irrigation. See, government is coming to tell us that people should leave the areas where water will disturb them. In a serious-minded country, they would have converted those excesses of those water that outflow and causes flood for the citizen, ban them, and direct them to area of usability where you can use it, rather than you creating menace. Look at the funds that was given to Borno for that issue of flooding. Yeah. That is something, if we have used that fund to actually develop a dam, which we can channel during the dry season to some of the areas where we are generating power when the water level is low. These are areas, if you go to America, where some of these international things comes to advise us, do you know that they have reserves of fuel that they will use in the next 20 years? They have reserves of food. Why is it that this did not eat them so much during COVID? They were actually giving back to the people. Now, in the midst of crisis, you discover that we are not even giving back to the people that have given to the government in time past. Some of the things that baffles me is that, are you aware, Sarah and Vivian, the federal government has more stake, has more financial muscle than the states? But it's surprising to me, the federal government said their minimum wage is 70,000, and states who struggled to pay 30,000 are coming up to tell us that they can even pay much more than the governors, more than the federal government.
Yeah.
And I ask myself the question, is it that their IGR is so that buoyant now that rather than paying personnel costs, you cannot divert such funds to infrastructure that will allow you and I to come out of paid employment, create something for ourselves as medium and small enterprise to grow the economy, rather than continue to pay civil servants who most of the time we consider as some of the challenges that we are faced with.
You know, that's
so
a
that
million.
Is still a mirage to me.
That's $1 million question. It's a very good one. In fact, Lagos is willing to pay 85,000 naira. Yeah. And before that,
it's not that they are willing to.
They are approved. And Edo too was doing about.
And we are
70.
looking at in the next 2-3 months to be talking of 100,000.
Wow. You know, this is something we should discuss solely on its own is a very good topic. But I'd like to draw your attention to this one before we wrap this segment up. It's on the front page of The Guardian. In fact, it is their big story. And it says, hashtag EndSARS protest at 4. Now, but this is what I want you to take note of. It says that a specter of abuses, bad leadership still haunting 4 years after the EndSARS protest. But this picture is the one I want you to explain. The infographics on the front page of The Guardian, the pictorial there. It is about a woman wearing a white garment with her eyes blindfolded. That's it on the screen there, holding the sword. I think that's a depiction of the law. But this is it. You have a very huge term, green and white, with signifying the executive, pinning down the garments of the law. And she's pointing to these recommendations, panel recommendations, EndSARS, and bad governance. What do you think this illustration is trying to describe to us?
The illustration is just given a typical situation we found ourselves. You know, the rule of law is very important because we all consider that judiciary is the last of the common man, but it has not played out in recent time in our country. Situations where you discover that those that mismanage, misappropriate funds are out there on the streets, oppressing those that are oppressed already. Situation where funds earmarked for the development of the masses are actually being, used by individual and nothing is happening. It's a typical way of saying that we cried out. The woman in question knows what to do, but you have actually closed her eyes to some of those things. And if you blindfold you, what will you see? It's darkness. Even if those things are right in front of you, you will not see anything to do to it. And that's why we'll say, if the judiciary are not only coming up to say that you want to increase their salary without making them to be completely independent, if they are not, we are not going anywhere. We have seen instances which some of us in the finance world have asked, how can you be dragging the case of misappropriation of funds, corruption for 6-7 years? Vivian, Sarah, let me ask you, the value of 1 million as at 5 years ago when someone picked it up and diverted it, and now, is it the same?
Absolutely
the answer
not.
is no. So if you have not actually carried out judgment 5 years on some of the issues that happen, whether it's to be refunded back into the coffers of the government for developmental purpose, and you are dragging it till after 5 years, the person on its own, even if he has fixed that money for 5 years, the return on that money is much more than the principal. So if you ask him to return it, even when the value has actually depreciated, he will return the funds without doing anything. So I feel that we need to go back to the drawing board. Allow the judiciary, which so many people have considered not to be independent because of the way and manner they carry out so many of their judges. They might tell you that some of us who are not lawyers, we are too emotional. But there are certain things that are just facing us on our face that we can all see that this is glaring misappropriation. Somebody will ask me, allegedly, the Minister of Humanitarian Affairs, where is the discussion today underneath the water? Nobody's saying anything. What are you just saying? You are encouraging the younger generation to feel that that is the way to go. Because all we do now is to celebrate, people that have money, irrespective of how and where they get the money from. It's about you just, flaunting it before people, which is not the value that we grew up with. While we are growing up, people ask questions. When you suddenly grow to start having money, what is the root cause? Where did you get it from? If it is from what is supposed to benefit, people will ask you to return it. And that was what we grew up. But that is not what we have now, because we have seen the failure of those that are supposed to uphold the law. How will you interpret this? Somebody that is supposed to enforce the law that is following one way. So we now catch those that are supposed to enforce the law when those that are to enforce it are the one breaking the law.
Right.
And people take it at will. to even carry them along and say, see, Oga, enter, so that we can follow it because of traffic. So I think we need to go back to the drawing board, build up a system, and Angel will not build it for us. All this one that these foreigners are coming to tell us, what is it that will benefit we, the Nigerians? How can we do it in such a way that it will be much more better for us, not the way that they are doing it? They already built a system for themselves, and they started the way we started.
Very, very true, Sheson Kwade. Yeah. We just hope that all of these things would be incorporated into the system so we can see things start working better for us as a nation. We've exhausted our time and we have to wrap up the conversation with you this morning. Thank you so much for joining us. It's been a delight.
It's always a great day to start the weekend with the two beautiful ladies on a Friday like this. I wish you a very splendid weekend. Enjoy yourself and don't discuss more of Nigerian issues during the weekend.
Right.
That
Thank
was a
you
good one.
for that advice.
Yeah, that was a very good one.
We wish you a fantastic weekend as well. Bye-bye. You know, quite insightful. Don't discuss Nigeria's issues over the weekend, but it's possible. You have to prepare for the following week, but as much as you can, try to filter what you're taking in and maybe just find time to bond with family and friends.
Absolutely. It's not a maybe for me. That's what I'm going to be doing, bonding with family and friends. Right. Talking about Nigeria, like I said, maybe till Monday.
Right.
Yeah, this is where we're going to wrap it up, this particular segment. When we come back from this short break, I promise you, the show continues. Stay with us.
Prospicians, Prospicians, Prospicians.
As a child, what is most important to you is love, warmth, acceptance, and security. But as you grow, there is a paradigm shift in the way you approach life. The interest you lose in some things, you pick in other things. Sometimes, the road is smooth. Other times, it is rough. Every step of the way comes with a new hurdle to scale. You win some, you lose some. You laugh hard, you cry hard, but at the end, you look back with a fulfilling smile and say, what a ride. High Impact Television equips you with what you need every step of the way.
Do you know bad production can kill a great content idea?
Do you want to have a photo shoot, audio production, or do you need a professional voiceover artist?
Do you simply want unmatched cinematography, video production, or just event coverage, such as weddings, birthdays, or burials?
Or do you need a space for meetings or conferences? All these are possible with High Impact Studios. Don't bring down your creativity, let's help you take it high.
And out of this world with our state-of-the-art equipment and first-class studio space.
We give you the quality you deserve at the best rate.
For more details, call 0706 393 5694 or 0915 958 1881.
Welcome back to the Breakfast Cafe on High Impact Television. Vivian and I are still here, and we've taken a look at the national dailies. We move into another segment called Our Views from the Net. And what do we do here? We throw out a question, and we get you to send your comments as well as call into the show to give us your contribution. And the question for today is, now share your thoughts. You can only have two of these things. Which would you rather have? The first one is to bring one person back to life. The second is to read minds. The third is to stop aging. And the fourth is to travel anywhere in the world, anywhere at all. You know, when I saw this question yesterday, I giggled. But we have a couple of comments, and you can also be a part of the conversation. 0812-182-0154 is the number to call. If you could only pick two out of this, which would you pick? Bring one person back to life, read minds, stop aging, travel anywhere in the world. I'll start with Vivian very quickly.
Ah, gosh.
Which would you go for?
I was wishing you wouldn't say that. But since you've asked, though, I'm having a hard time choosing. I mean, I would rather have all of them, but since I can just have two, I would say, yeah, oh, gosh, he had to say, the producer is saying only two. So I'm thinking I'll go with A and C or A and D.
Okay, that's a good one.
Yeah.
It's quite dicey. I don't want to read anybody's mind.
Yeah, you notice I skipped it, yeah?
I'm not going to pick
Why would
B,
I want to?
because I'm just going to give myself hypertension. If I could read your mind, know what you're thinking.
Yeah.
Oh, no, I don't think I want to find myself in that situation. There's a movie like that.
Yeah, I think what's her name? Taraji,
Yeah.
where she had the
Yeah,
abilities to read people's.
I don't want to find myself in that. I would definitely choose D. That's the.
Yeah.
So I'm torn between bringing someone back to life and aging. Why is because it would be difficult to say, okay, bring this person back to life, because if I had the opportunity to, I have a couple people
I'll bring to life, not just one person.
To life,
yeah.
You know. So I'm turning between A and C, which is to stop aging and bring one person back to life. I've not figured that out. But so definitely D.
Yeah, you and I we are in the same boat.
Yes, I'm traveling anywhere in the world. Give me that one. Yeah. Yes. Maybe let's do that, but I'm not reading your mind. You want to kick off with the comments?
Okay, yeah, let's begin with what the people are saying. And I start with John from Aja. John says, A, bring one person back to life. This choice could provide a chance to reconnect with a loved one or a historical figure whose insights could change the world. The emotional impact of having that person back could be profound, allowing for healing and closure. John from Aja, thank you.
Right, let's see what Kayode from Egbeda has to say. Kayode believes that Kayode would pick reading minds. This option could revolutionize personal and professional relationships. Imagine knowing exactly what your friends or colleagues are thinking, which could help avoid misunderstandings and foster deeper connections. However, it could also be overwhelming to know everybody's thoughts. I like the fact that he put that. That's the part for me. When I know what you are thinking. Imagine as we're sitting here now, I know what Vivian is thinking.
Oh my
and
God.
Vivian is probably thinking, if you know what I'm going to.
Oh my God.
You don't want to hear what the producer just said.
No, but maybe they should even hear it. Hey, what's there? But yeah, I like what you're saying. I would never ever want to read another person's mind. You will die before your time.
Honestly, and I'm just seeing Vivian is probably thinking, okay, this is what I'm going to do. I think we have a call. Samuel from Taraba State, thank you for calling. Are you there, Samuel?
Yeah.
Yeah, I said I will choose bring one person to life and stop aging.
Right. Why? Why those two options? Are you there, Samuel? Yes, why do you go for those two options?
Yeah. Yeah, it's what I really prefer for myself.
All right, thank you so much, Samuel. Samuel would bring one person back to life and he would stop aging. Fantastic one, I must say.
I like
but
it.
keep the calls coming in. 0812-182-0155 first number to call. You can only pick two. Which would you rather have? Bring one person back to life, read people's minds, stop aging, travel anywhere in the world.
Yeah, I think you're up next.
Yeah, let's take Desmond from Aja. Desmond says he would choose stop aging.
Is that what you? I think you have Kayode.
No, I've taken Kayode.
Oh, okay.
Where
Oh,
Kayode
fantastic.
chose reading mind. So
Okay. Oh, fantastic.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
So
Desmond.
Desmond would stop aging. Choosing to stop aging would allow for a prolonged life filled with experiences and wisdom. It could provide an opportunity to witness the evolution of society and technology over centuries. However, it might also lead to existential questions about the meaning of life and the natural cycle of existence. Thank you, Desmond. I would even like to put this stop aging in context now. Are you saying stop aging physically? I'm 50 years old and I look like a 16 years old. I'm getting old, but I'm not aging physically. I'm glowing. Or stop aging, that you're stop aging. You are 30 today, you are 30 in the next 5 years, you are 30 in the next 40 years. So we need to understand.
Yeah.
So is it that I'm 80 years old, but I still look the way I look?
Yeah, Forever Young.
Forever
I
Young.
think Jay-Z has a song like that. Probably that.
Forever young, I wanna be forever. Was it Jay-Z that sang?
Yeah, Jay-Z.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Would you really want to live forever? Yeah. So I think we need to understand that exactly.
Absolutely.
But let's move on.
That's a good. Sarah, you think on your feet. I like it.
Thank you.
Well, Emmanuel from Oka, thank you so much for calling. Please go ahead with your contribution.
Yeah, I would choose traveling because I love traveling and exploring different cultural background and people's way of life all over the world.
Yeah.
So that's what I chose.
You can pick two, actually.
I'm hailing you guys from Oka, Anambra State.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for calling.
Thank you. Oh my God. What you just did is just to warm our hearts, yeah? I hope you guys are doing so well in Oka.
In Oka, yeah.
He just wants to travel.
Yeah,
Like me.
But here's the thing.
like you too.
Yeah. I want to travel, but here's the thing for me.
Yeah.
Maybe I could just wake up today and I find myself somewhere else, like in Canada or in Spain, where I don't have to go through the process of motion sickness. Yeah.
Wait, is it like teleporting?
If that's the word you want to use. As much as I love it, but we have a caller. Ifeanyi from Delta, thank you for calling. Kindly turn down the volume of your TV set so we can have a smooth conversation. Please go on. Yeah, please go on, Ifeanyi. Thank you for calling.
Okay, I would choose traveling around the world.
Okay.
And stop aging.
Stop aging.
Yeah.
People don't want to age anymore, but that's fantastic, Ifeanyi. Thank you for calling.
Sarah wants to do astral projection and
honestly,
teleporting.
the motion sickness, it's a lot for me. I get that a lot.
That's okay. Well, traveling is part of it.
And I don't like the what's the word now? There's a tension that sometimes builds up for me. But I love to travel. Give me tickets. Give me booking. Just say, you know what, I've booked a ticket for you. Just gonna spend 2 weeks here. Just relax and chill. My bags are ready.
You like it. You like it easy. I like it.
Yeah, soft life, soft girl era. I know Olumide is listening. Soft girl era.
Oh
yes,
my gosh.
that's it.
And guys, you're doing so well. Keep the calls coming. And just like Ifeanyi and his predecessor who called in from Oka said, traveling anywhere. Our next contributor also says, travel anywhere, and it's emphatic. This option offers the freedom to explore the world and experience diverse cultures, cuisines, and landscape. It could lead to personal growth and a broader understanding of humanity. On the downside, constant travel might make it difficult to form lasting relationships or settle in one place. This is Rita from Unilag. Thank you so much, Rita.
Thank you, Rita. But like Vivian said, keep the calls coming in 0812-182-0154. If you could pick two, which would you pick? Bring one person back to life, read people's minds, stop aging, and travel anywhere in the world. Let us know which you would go for. But let's take Bolaji from Yabatek. Bolaji says, if I can read minds, then I won't have any problem in relationship, because before you think of anything, I already have an idea already, and again, you won't be able to do me bad. It's a very good thing to have, and again, no small boy would give me breakfast. Before you give me, I have dropped you. But it might be overwhelming sometimes if you know too much.
Yeah.
If I have the power, I will bring my dad back to life. We've missed him so much, we've missed him so very much, especially my mother, who is lonely as well. You know, take all our love, Bolaji, all our love to you, and we wish that we encourage you to keep staying strong, you know, and encourage your mom as well. But she talked about reading minds. I always like the fact that all people that chose reading minds, they always put it there.
There's a but.
That it will be overwhelming.
Yeah.
Yes. You know, you're saying nobody will be able to do you bad. Before they do it, you already know. The fact that you now know that they want to do you bad,
it's what eats you up.
It will eat you up. Imagine you have a best friend and you can read your best friend, and your best friend is planning something evil towards you. The fact that you've known it already, it's already causing some sort of drama in your mind.
There's a reason why there is yesterday, today, and tomorrow. You're supposed to live in the moment. All right, let's continue with this one now. Personally, it will be B. Okay, stop confusing me, producer. Personally, it will be B, read mind, D, travel anywhere. Having no limit to where I can travel to gives me unlimited freedom to experience new things, new cultures, etc. And the ability to read minds, if the key to access a wealth of knowledge I would need to survive. Okay, that is if it gives me access to a wealth of knowledge that I will need to survive in new environments, as long as there are no limits or side effects of such powers, though. This is Nicholas from Rivers. You know, Sarah, you said you like the fact that they keep saying as far as it's not overwhelming, give me.
Right. But let's take Olumide from Lagos. Olumide says, being able to not age at all is the greatest superhuman power. You go marry wives back to back. Hey, you'll be able to get cheat codes for future investment. It's the angle that Olumide from Lagos is taking it for me. Olumide from Lagos, if you are listening, why is it wives back to back and cheat codes? You know, say, we'll be able to age, you not have wrinkled skin. You can, you know, do some of the things you could not do when you were younger, explore. Why is it wives and cheat codes? Why? That's all I have to say.
I don't even know what to say. I'm just shaking my head for you, Olumide. Well, this next comment is this. I'll rather have to travel anywhere and read minds. Reason because I like traveling and I'll be able to predict people or groups' behavior. This is Solomon from Maryland.
I hope you that are wishing to read people's mind. You don't end up on the sick bed where you have read everybody's mind and you fall sick because what is in their mind can make you sick. And you sit and ask yourself, is this a human being's thought? How did this even come up?
And let me push this story, this scenario you just painted. Let me push it a little bit further. So you now fall sick and you are now on the sick bed and you are stressing your loved ones and you have some of them thinking in their minds that let him kukuma die.
No, you're
like,
I'm not choosing that, please. But let's quickly take Uzziah from Ogun State. Uzziah says, I will choose read mind and stop aging. Reasons. Reading minds. A person that has the ability to read minds is the most secured person on earth.
Really?
Because he's just like someone that foresees. Imagine before something happens, you already have known that this will happen. This will help you make all necessary preparation to handle it constructively. 2, you will have access to almost everything you need on earth easily. And he goes on to explain why he would choose stop aging. He says, aging deteriorates the mental, psychological, and social and physical state of a person. Me being young, like forever, simply means aside natural disaster or any other vices and ailments, I will not die. Just living life over and over again. Also, you'll be a blessing to so many generations because you would pass down the ancestral social values from generation to generation. So I think we're somehow misplacing these things. Having a foreknowledge, or they call this thing word of wisdom, word of knowledge, and what have you, is different from reading minds.
Yeah.
They're not the same thing. I'm connecting this to what Uzziah says. Uzziah says, before something happens, you have already known. There's a gift some persons have whereby they have the ability to know what is going to happen, right? Some people call it deja vu. Yeah. They've seen something happen before and it happens the same way. But it is different from when I can read your mind. They are not the same. Let's separate it. That I can see that something is, sometimes you can see these things through dreams, sometimes you see them through vision, sometimes you just have this knowing.
It's a perception, sometimes it's a perception.
Yeah. Sometimes you just have this knowing, it just comes and you know that this is what will happen. People that are very religious have a way that they also put it. But it is different from when I say I want to be able to read your mind.
For starters, that's an invasion of privacy. Yeah.
There's a word they call it when you watch all these sci-fi movies. There's a particular word they call it. I'm not even going to go into that. But thank you, Zai. I think we've exhausted our time. Yeah. We cannot take all the other comments.
Can we take one more?
Yeah, Vivian.
All right. A and D. This next comment from Toby says. Toby is writing us from Lagos, and Toby says A and D. A, because my younger cousin died last year at just 15 years of age. So sad. That's unfortunate. Please accept our condolences. Then Toby goes on to say that the only male cousin that I have, we won't follow my step. And then he now said D. Okay, so that's why he's choosing A to bring one person back. Wow. And then D is the next choice he will make. Make I dey see money. That's travel anywhere. Because I know if they travel, make I no guide for my wallet. This is to be from Lagos. I'm glad the producer gave us the permission to take that one last contribution. Apologies to those of the contributors whose comments we couldn't take, but we are rushed for time. So we'll take a short break now. When we come back, the show continues. Stay with us. right, welcome back. The show is still the Breakfast Cafe right here on High Impact TV. Sarah and I, Vivian, are in the house right now. So this segment is where we're going to talk about topical issues, and today we'll take a look at minimum wage role in reducing poverty and income inequality. A little background to this topic before I introduce our guest analyst to you. The minimum wage is a crucial policy tool aimed at protecting workers' well-being and promoting economic equality. Now, by setting a floor for wages, governments can ensure that workers earn a decent income, meet their basic needs, and contribute to economic growth. Now, the governor of Lagos State, Babajide Sanwo-Olu, recently disclosed that the state will pay 85,000 naira minimum wage to its workers, which is 15,000 naira higher than the 70,000 naira approved by the federal government. However, this development is coming at a time when the economy is submerged by inflation. On the one hand, proponents argue that the higher minimum wage can lift people out of poverty, reduce income disparities, and stimulate economic growth. On the other hand, critics contend that it may lead to increased unemployment, reduced competitiveness, and higher costs of living. Now, the effectiveness of minimum wage in addressing these issues is often debated, with questions about its impact on employment, business operations, and the broader economy, which is why today we have Barrister Tunji Abdulhamid, who is a legal practitioner, to help us dissect this issue. The topic, once again, minimum wage role in reducing poverty and income inequality. Barrister Tunji, it's a pleasure to have you on board this morning. How are you?
I'm fine. It's my pleasure to be with you.
Thank you.
I'm highly privileged.
Yes, welcome. Thank you. Now, my question, the first one, how does the new minimum wage, federal level and state level, if you take Lagos, for example, how does this minimum wage compare to the poverty line? Now, the World Bank just said 129 million Nigerians are living below the poverty line. So what's your take?
Yeah, I think for me, the minimum wage in Nigeria cannot take anybody out of poverty because it's not even and that my position is confirmed by what one senator said yesterday, Senator Orji Kalu, somebody who's earning 14 million naira and is still claiming that the 14 million naira is not enough
to buy petrol
for him to survive monthly. So it shows it is confirmation that anyone that will approve 70K or 80K for as minimum wage is not being sincere. He is aware that, look, this is not enough to do anything for anybody. What are the indices? You look at the situation on ground in the country. Look at our economic situation. Look at, assuming you want to even just say, worker, and you are earning 80,000 naira minimum wage. Let's even say that is to be used for just your electricity and the water and the
gas,
transportation alone, fuel. That will not even take you a week or even a day. So it shows that it's not and it's especially in Nigeria where majority are not even working, and they cannot even be entitled to that 80,000 naira minimum wage because no government can. Even though I'm hearing that government says it's across board that everybody, whether public or private, you must pay the minimum wage. Where would they get the money if they don't have it? The government that is paying 80, 70, all that they are paying, they are getting allocations, they are getting money from us. Source of income is sure monthly that they share. With those private companies, have you provided enable environment for them to be able to make such money? And how many people are even our public civil servants? Let's even I quit. Less than 10% of all of us. So how can that take away anybody? And you know, in a family where you have one person working, you may have about 20 dependents on that one single person who's taking 80,000 naira or 50,000 naira as the case may be. So for me, as far as I'm concerned, considering the society that we find ourselves, considering the environment that we have, the minimum wage of 80,000 naira or even 100,000 naira cannot take anybody, cannot even feed you, talk less of taking you away from property. I'm not even, if you just look at so many things, fuel, transportation, food, school fees, education, health, whatever. These are not available for anybody to use without money. So for me, as far as I'm concerned, It is not a minimum wage in Nigeria. It's just a mere what's it called? How do I say it? It's just by it. It's just what it is. What it is.
Right. You know, some people have come out to say, you know what we don't need is a minimum wage, but a living wage that can sustain us. Let's get your perspective to this now. What is the, how do I put it, what are the long-term benefits as well as challenges of implementing a living wage instead of a minimum wage?
Yeah, they are correct. What we are supposed to have is what we call living wage. And that's why I said, look, if you are collecting money as a salary or whatever, and you cannot even sustain yourself for a week, just for only on transportation, or just only on a feeding, then you are not living, because you will not even be able to focus on your job. So whatever you are taking as salary or whatever, or minimum wage or whatever it is, should be able to take care of your personal needs, at least. I'm not even talking about your education of your children. I'm not even talking about health of your dependents. I'm not even talking about other things like that. I'm talking about your personal needs. Let's talk about feeding. Talk about transportation. You can't take care of yourself, and you are saying you are collecting minimum wage. What kind of minimum wage is that? So for me, the minimum wage what should be paid to a reasonable amount to be paid to a worker should be something that will be able to take care of his life, that will up his standard of living. Any amount that's been paid that cannot change his standard of living, that cannot reflect on his lifestyle positively, it cannot be said to be good. So as far as I'm concerned, what they are being paid today is just an honorarium, just to say thank you for coming, not just salary, not anything. Not even it's not even, I can't even call it a salary.
Honorarium.
Yes, because it's just like somebody as if you are doing somebody a favor for helping you. That's what they are doing, as far as I'm concerned. Because look at it. Imagine, let me just give you an example where an individual who earns 70K and he lives in a particular place in Lagos, and he will spend at least 2,000 naira per day as transport for transport. He will eat. I'm not even talking about his family. I'm talking about himself in person. Times 2,000 times 30. How much is that?
60,000.
That transportation, has taken all the money. So how do you expect that to survive? And that's why you see corruption in our system. People must find another alternative to survive. The school is there, education. They must send their children to school, and the schools are not even the public schools that they are supposed to even leverage on are not there for them to use. So they have to find a way of taking their school to a private school, so that they will belong to. They will also they will also have that privilege of competing in the society. How much is this? How much are you paying in this school that I'm talking about? Times 10 or times of what they collect as salary. And some people, they call motivational speaker, will come out and say you must live within your means. Are you saying people should just live within their means and not meet up with the standard in life? In other words, you want to live within your means, that means you have to abandon your school, abandon some of the things you're supposed to do. Because if you want to say live within your means, if you are earning 70K, transportation alone is taking your money. That means your children will not go to school.
Some people will even have decent houses.
You will not live in a decent house. How can you? And the government is not providing one. Even where the government is providing, the cost is beyond the ordinary Nigeria. The situation whereby the government will say they are doing housing for privilege, and they will say come and pay 30 million, and they will ask you to pay 30% upfront. Where would somebody who collected 70K or 80K be able to get that? So there's so many things that is not allowing that to happen. So what we are having in Nigeria is not even, I can't even call it a minimum wage.
All right.
Just something to say honorarium, just thank you.
So let's dissect what you just said. Honorarium, not minimum wage. So you're advocating for a living wage. So my question now would be, what would be your peg? What would you call a living wage, considering the fact that the inflation is high and and the cost of living is very, very high? You also talked about Senator Orji Uzor Kalu, who said he takes 14 million naira monthly, and he was complaining that that cannot even buy petrol. So what would be your peg for a living wage? Would you rather have that, an increased amount for a living wage or a minimum wage, or would you say, government, give us subsidies in the form of electricity at affordable prices, let's see, food banks, and some other form of subsidies apart from the minimum wage? What would you have?
People will not be more concerned about minimum wage or living wage when there's enabling, if there's an enabling environment. Enabling environment is saying that, based on what you said, if we know that health service is something that you can afford, whether with or without money, when you know that education will not be a problem, looking for money to pay school fees for your children or for yourself will not be a problem, knowing that electricity supply is constant and you can afford it, you're paying it, knowing that, look, whatever, all the basics of economics are not present in Nigeria, and therefore whatever you pay as minimum wage, even if you pay, and that's why somebody who's collecting 14 million naira will say it's not enough. So even if you pay 500,000 naira, as requested by Labour, because they broke it down, Labour, when they talk about 500,000 naira or so that time, they gave you basis upon how they arrive at it, that if you pay this as transport, if you pay this as food, if you do that, but can we do it? Because how many people are even into this level that can pay 10%, that can pay this minimum wage to their workers? Only those in government. The government only government can pay it comfortably. So how many people are working for government? Less than, not up to 5%. So if we are talking about majority of Nigerians, those who are into private business, what are you providing for them? You will recall, recently the Lagos State government said the Lagos State worker will collect 80%, 8,000 or 85,000 minimum wage. Did you hear him say anything about private sectors? Did you hear him talk about those who are not even in employment at all? Did you hear him? So that even those who are collecting that 85,000 naira will not be able to use it judiciously, because people that will be behind, that will be relying on them, will be too depending on them, will be too much, because there's no provision for them.
Right. You see,
those who are not into official what's it called, formal sectors, informal sector people are not taken care of. They are always not considered whenever anything is being done. Whenever you talk about hardship, what they will do is to provide to talk about minimum wage, or to talk about giving palliatives to certain category of people. So abandoning certain category of people, as if they are everybody's not suffering. Everybody is eating breakfast now in Nigeria. Right. All of us.
Talking
those
about
who have money, those who have money. Because I know before, when this government came into power in 2023, to buy fuel tank for just a car, for me, it's just 15,000 naira. Today I must spend as minimum 100,000 naira, and I will use it for a week.
Wow. You know, you mentioned
I must buy
this your last comment, takes me to this question, talking about the organized private sector. I know they came out at one point in time saying even Labour was not, fighting for them. It was more of the government workers, those in civil service. And like you mentioned, some of these palliatives, most of them are channeled towards those that work with the government. Now, when the minimum wage was increased, there was a conversation that they were the government stated that they would jail private employers. Private employers that don't pay the minimum wage risk jail term. Now, let's flip the coin a bit and come to the part of these private employers. We know that the economy is taking a toll on everybody, even private businesses. Now, what are the potential economic impacts of raising the minimum wage and employment rates? Talking about these private employers that are struggling to float in this economy, and then they have to meet up with the minimum wage. Some are downsizing, some are changing their work schedules. Let us understand this and how they can be better included in structures like this from the government.
I tell you, if government is to implement that law the way they are saying it, that everybody, whether private or public, must pay minimum wage, then they should be ready to have a large number of people in the unemployment market, because and be ready to also have so many businesses closed down, because you cannot give what you don't have. Most of these private businesses are not getting this money, except those who are getting the money are those who have connection with the government, and those who are into major businesses like banking and all sectors. They are making money because environment allows it to make a money. They are making money they don't work for. Sometimes because they charge you, especially the banks, they charge you all sorts of charges. You withdraw today, they will charge you. At the end of the month, they also bring another charge for maintenance. So for me, if the government wants to say this without making the environment enable, people will lose their jobs, businesses will close down, and Nigeria will be worse for it. So as far as I'm concerned, the government must provide an enabling environment. You do know that these days now, I'll use myself as an example again. Ordinary tariff, electricity tariff, I spend not less than 200K monthly. Not less than. That's just ordinary tariff, electricity. I'm not using much AC. I go out in the morning, come back in the night. If I thought I would use AC, it would be in the night. Just for how many hours? And I'm not putting on about 5-6 AC together. One, or at most 2, if my children are around.
Right.
So can you imagine a kind of that situation whereby if I want to charge you now as a lawyer, and I want to say, look, the economic the situation has changed. You have to pay this. I'll lose so many clients, and I won't be able to survive. And if I also want to bend my what's it called, my standard, by saying let me accommodate them, I won't be able to pay salary. I won't be able to pay office rent. I won't be able to do so many things. So if we are not careful, if there's no enabling environment, the country will be worse for it. And I don't want to listen to the World Bank saying that this reform by this government is working well. Yeah, they will say so because they are not wearing the shoes, and they won't know where it pinch. So they are let them come. Those who are making those suggestions that the reform is working, let them relocate to Nigeria. Live the kind of life I am living, not the one they are living, or the one they will collect. Live the kind of life I'm living, and see whether or not they will not be complaining and asking the government to refund.
Okay. All right, Barrister, before we wrap this up, though, we talked about it earlier on, that the minimum wage is not the way to go, but that's what we have right now, right? You have civil servants who have the right...
You don't even have it. Is it being paid?
Oh, that's... You see, so that's my question. That's my... You remember when it...
Now?
Yeah, let me ask.
People have gone up for months.
Yes, I know.
We are still the taxes that don't have any those who collect salary.
Yeah. But I was going to even ask, when it was 30,000 naira, about 26 state governors were not even paying, Now that you have it at 70,000 naira, how do you think government can ensure compliance with minimum wage regulations? For example, do you say states that are not paying minimum wage cannot come to Abuja and take their share of their FAC money that you go to collect every month? What do you think the federal government can do to ensure compliance?
Most states in Nigeria only rely on federal allocation.
Yeah.
Because they are very lazy.
Yeah.
They are so lazy that they don't even know they have anything in their state to annex. So they rely only on allocation. And you see, you can't even this minimum wage of things. I even see as something that is not fair to some states. For instance, they rely on allocation. For instance, Lagos, Delta, Rivers State, and some other states, they collect as high as 500 billion monthly as a park allocation. Whereas states like Gombe and some other states like that collect like 40 billion or 50 billion monthly. And the same people are required to pay the same set of minimum wage. No. These people are not able to pay 30,000 minimum wage. How will they now be able to pay? Although we have been told that removal of subsidy have given enough grant for them to have more money from my further allocation. Are we seeing the effect of this money? Let's even assume this money is being paid. What can it cover? Can it cover comparing this with the cost of things in Nigeria today? Can it even achieve anything? So for me, I think the government must do more. To enforce it will be difficult for them. The only way they can enforce it, and that will be against the law, is not to give them if you are not paying your salary, you will not be entitled to the allocation that is due to you. But that would be against the law. So another way to be, another word what I'm trying to say that it's going to be difficult for every federal government to even implement force a state to pay. Because if we are going by true federalism, federal government has no power over the state. The state are on their own. They should be an independent. So whether they are paying or not paying, and that's why I would thought that look, they will have allowed each state to negotiate with their own labor and agree on whatever they think is acceptable to them and they can pay. So it's not for the federal government to force it on everybody and say it must be so amount. But for me, whatever amount they even agree to, as long as the environment is the way it is today, it won't make any impact. Even if we are being paid 250,000 naira monthly as a minimum wage, and the environment is what it is today, that will not have positive impact on anybody because things are difficult. You can see a bag of rice is what, a bag of beans is what, a bag of a yam, a tuber of yam we have been told is 10,000 naira or so or more. I don't know about that now. We have been told rice 150,000, 100,000, beans the same way. I'm not even saying you are buying a bag of rice every month. You are buying, let's say you are even buying half or you are even buying quarter.
That's still some increase there, I must say.
Almost half of your salary is gone or even more. You buy pepper, you buy meat.
We just sincerely call on the government to listen to our cries and do something that is sustainable, something that works for us, because the hardship in the country,
this government will not listen to your cry.
Million Nigerians.
Well, we do hope they listen.
We hope they are listening.
You people want to force the government to listen to your cry. This government will not. The way we are going about it in the country, No, this government will not listen to you. When they push you to the wall, you break the wall.
Right.
And you move inside the wall.
We will keep doing all that we can. But we've exhausted our time this morning. Thank you so much for joining us, Barrister Tunji Abdulhamid, and for having this conversation with us. It's been a delight.
Thank you for having me. It's my pleasure to be with you once again.
Enjoy your weekend. Bye-bye.
I think we heard during the week that rice in some places subsidized is 37 naira, 37,000 naira. I think that's one of the things the government is doing at the moment. I just wanted to throw that.
How many people does it reach actually?
That's
that's it on this segment. Thank you for staying tuned. Let's go on a break. Today is Friday, and you know it is time for our games. I'm seeing something in the script. Guess your country, and I'm like, what?
What?
But let's see.
Really?
Let's see. Producer, let's see what you have for us with our games. We'll be right back.
All right, Lord have mercy. Why did you just come on me? Well, like Sarah said earlier on, it's a house style, right? Every Friday, it's tradition here. We play games just to let the hair down. And like Sarah said earlier on, how well do you know your country is what we're going to be talking about or playing? Well, let's find out, producers. What have you got? Yeah. Uh-huh. Lord have mercy.
Who's going first? Who is going first? Who is going first?
7.
7 is the number of perfection. Let's see you. Oh.
Oh, Lord have mercy. What regime converted coins to naira? I know it was a military regime, was it? It was a military regime, but it wasn't completely converted, was it? Yeah, it was a military regime.
I think she got it.
Yeah, but you didn't say mention the name of
regime.
You said what, you know. This, Sarah, thank you. It was a military regime, yeah.
See, I always say this and I'll say it again. Please don't use this game segment to judge us.
Yeah.
It is not who we are. Because I've seen the first question, like, you know what, if I get one year, I give thanks. But let's go. Hey! Question 5.
Yeah, 5. Good.
This is 1914.
Yay.
This is 1914.
Yay.
This is 1914. This is 1914.
Yeah, you got it. So you know your country well.
Well, I did government, but it's been a long time ago.
Okay, let's do one.
Question 1, okay.
Oh my God. No idea. Sarah?
I don't know it.
Sarah, do you want to help?
I don't. The thing is, we know these things, but
yeah,
it's been a while. As much as I like bonus, this is not coming to.
Okay.
Are we when you say administration, are you talking about leadership, like past leadership, past presidents? Is that what you're asking?
Plus, this is a regional body, yeah?
Yeah.
ECOWAS is a regional body. Yeah, but what's the answer?
Is it about some?
Okay, General Yakubu Gowon is actually 90 today. Okay, yeah, but thank you, though. Yeah, for letting us know.
Let's do question 10. Let's see what question 10 is.
Yeah. Oh,
is this not?
This is good. This is good, Sarah. It's good.
Is it Lugard? No.
No.
It's a woman's name. It's a woman. Ah, Flora Shaw.
Yeah.
We did it in school. Yeah. I knew there's a lady. It's a woman's name.
But you knew it was a woman.
Yes.
Yes.
So But,
but
you
she
still,
asked.
I was still thinking before you popped up. This is not fair. I was still thinking.
Now,
no, it's half mark.
You got it.
Yes,
Sarah, you got it.
Yes, producer. Yes,
why won't
producer,
she fought for me? I will fight for her.
We will not agree.
Yes. This is girl power.
Yes.
Yeah.
Super power, girl power.
6. I need to get this one.
You will get it.
I hope so. Oh gosh, who was the first Senate president?
Hey.
Oh my God, I should know this, yeah? I should know this. I should know this. But guys, unfortunately, I can't remember at the moment. Sarah, can you help?
My government teacher is looking at me with, he's shaking his head. Is this my student? Hey, let me fall your hand today. Producer, I will fall your hand.
So who?
I will fall your hand. Let's see. I think you should be giving us clues as well, producer. Give us a few clues here and there.
Wasn't Nnamdi Azikiwe the first? Wasn't Nnamdi Azikiwe the first Senate president? Or was he the first regional
president?
Let's get this right. Or was it the first regional head? You know, we had Tafawa Balewa, we had Nnamdi Azikiwe, and then we had Awolowo. Wasn't Nnamdi Azikiwe called the Senate president? Guys, hold on. Sarah is trying to find out. Yeah.
Because this is...
no.
I'll go with... yeah, he was the first Senate president.
He was the first Senate president.
I'll go with...
So it was right.
Number 2.
Oh.
Help me.
I like what you just said. Do you want to interpret what you just said in Yoruba to the viewer?
So why is he disappearing from my head?
That's the thing. Because we didn't see, when you said how well do you know your country, I thought it was going to be name of states and their capitals and all of that. You know, this thing is, the producers, they check these things out themselves. Sarah, over to you.
Bonus to you.
No. What's the answer? Oh.
Please don't judge us with these games. If you are watching us, we are smart too. We are very intellectual.
You don't need to tell them.
No, let's just put it, because sometimes the producer likes to do us dirty, but we have to stay. Are we done? Are we done?
Please say it's over.
Are we done, producer?
Please tell us it's over. 8.
I believe in you.
Well, let's see what it is. Oh, Lagos. It was Lagos.
Give it up for Vivian. Okay, Vivian is the winner.
How come you are the judge?
I got only one. Do you want me to embarrass myself more than this? Come on, give it up for Vivi.
All right,
Producer,
guys.
thank you. Don't worry, we'll meet. We'll meet after the show.
Sarah, you remember in secondary school when somebody offended you like this and you do kill and go?
What? What is that?
Kill and go.
Producer, let's meet after the show.
Yeah.
You know.
Whatever, man. Guys, let's take a break. And while we're at it, we'll take a look at the weather forecast. We'll be right back. Sarah just taught me, it was told her in school. She said kiss. And what does it mean? Keep it short and simple, and that's what I'm going to do. Have yourself a fantastic weekend. I am Vivian Uguche. Bye. And
follow us across all of our social media platforms at High Impact Studios and High Impact TV. Join us again same time, 7 a.m. from Monday to Friday. I am Sarah Owusu-Ansah. Bye-bye.